It takes a village and all of these unlikely alliances to come together to tackle these impacts of climate change.
So Thurston Climate Action Team's mission is to collaborate with others in the community to find the most effective ways to reduce our carbon emissions and other ways to address the climate crisis that we're facing.
What are you going to do now to protect future generations?
We are living at the most extraordinary time to be alive. We were all put on this planet at this moment in time, and I don't know about you, but I want the children 100 years from now to read in the history books about those of us that stood up to the powers that be and overturned the system.
So just let's take our temperature here right now. Raise your hand if you feel like right now in your family room, in your place of work, you could describe climate change and what can be done about it. Great, good. Raise your hand if you believe that we will actually be able to do what needs to be done in the time that it needs to be done in order to balance the cycle and stabilize life on Earth for this and future generations. Okay, so take a look around and just take that in for a moment. That is what this climate convention is here to address. That is what TCAT is here to address. That we, even those in the room, the majority of people in this room don't believe that we will do this. We've got to change that story, and we've got to change that story starting today.
I'm Barb Scavezze, and I'm the Outreach Coordinator for Thurston Climate Action Team. TCAT recently got a grant for 2 years, and the idea of the grant is to bring all the organizations working on climate action in Thurston County together. Sierra Club, League of Women Voters, Black Hills Audubon, Northwest Eco Building Guild. These are just a few of the organizations that have joined on. But we need to make change at the government level, and bringing these organizations together to help make that change at the government level and even at the state level going beyond, because we're in a prime situation here.
I think some kind of governance or some kind of input from the community and certainly from the partners who are involved would be fairly important.
I think you're right, Tom, and so the question for this group or TCAT or others is, how can we influence those conversations?
We don't always have a seat at the table, and I think that's something different with TCAT, that we always have a seat at the table. Tribes always have a seat at the table.
Hey, hey, hey,
we see the lands as relatives rather than resources. We look at the environment in a different way. In the future, I'd really like to see myself and TCAT work on some of the issues around our CO2 emissions and ways that we can tackle those, maybe around initiatives.
Initiative 1631 would put a fee on greenhouse gas emissions for industries all across the state, and then use the proceeds to invest in large part, in local communities like ours.
It's time that we do something about climate change before Mother Earth gets its permanent revenge. I am thrilled to, in your presence, proudly add my signature to Initiative 1630.
Another thing that we're very involved in is working with the cities and the county to develop a regional climate action plan. Just earlier this year, the county commissioners signed on to the first phase of that effort as well, which I think is very exciting.
Climate change is not an issue that any one of us can fix. right? It's something that we all have to do together. We are all creating this problem, and we all have to make the changes to fix it, to create a new paradigm, really. Art, I think, has this way of like breaking down barriers and opening hearts and allowing people to experience things in a new way. So recently I worked with Stream Team in the city of Olympia and South Sound Green to create an installation and a float for the Procession of the Species celebration that was about sea level rise. Through the work that I've done with TCAT, we came up with this really great plan to create a super large traveling art installation and like a book of how to create these kind of things in other areas, and we have not received funding for that yet. So I've been focusing on this other work with the Sea Level Rise project with the city and the food waste project with the Thurston County Food Bank. There's a lot of work to be done, and I think there's a lot of ways that we can engage the communities through art and create some awesomeness at the same time.
But we're willing to be the convener and bring people together and see if we can, find common bonds and common interests, and so that we can move together ultimately more quickly by taking our time to building a real functioning coalition of organizations.
Maybe no one single tribe can make a difference in substantially reducing our CO2 emissions, but maybe all of the tribes together can make a difference, and maybe we could serve as a model to the rest of the world.